A mutated hen bursts out of its body, directly puncturing a hole in the suited man. The little lamb transforms into a flying monster and devours an old yellow cow. All animals injected with Compound V fall into a frenzy. Superheroes turn into a chicken-catching team. Meanwhile, on the human test subjects, changes are occurring. VOD is hosting a convention, hosted by Cameron Coleman and Deep, introducing bots projects for the year. They unveil an exclusive film for Firecracker, Soldier of Jehovah. They also present a film adaptation of the famous football movie The Blind Side. In the middle of the presentation, they don't forget to play a tribute video for the death of Yellow Hair, condemning the Starlight Home for slaughtering a Christian, and Homelander killing the entire lab. Hasn't come back to his senses from his journey back home yet. On the other side, Huey's father miraculously wakes up because his wife injected him with Compound V before their son could. Turns out, Huey's mother saw the vial in Huey's pocket and thought it was what her son wanted. With things as they are, Huey doesn't need to dwell on it. After all, his father looks very healthy. The family of 3 reunites after many years. He cherishes this time. His mother takes off her engagement ring and encourages her son to propose to Starlight when the opportunity arises. However, the father starts displaying strange symptoms.
Hey, where's your mom gone? She went to the bathroom, remember?
Yeah, of course.
Meanwhile, Firecracker officially declares war. She intends to charge Starlight with intentional harm and the murder of Yellow Hair. She plans to take Starlight to court. The reputation of the Starlight home plummets. In this public opinion battle, Firecracker emerges victorious. So when Butcher enters the boy's office, the atmosphere inside is similar to a morgue. Kimiko blames herself for what happened to the Scar woman. Frenchie drives away Colin with the truth. Mother's Milk's daughter is suspended from school for fighting. Everyone has their own troubles. Butcher has a tumor in his head, which could potentially flare up at any moment. Most importantly, he completely doesn't understand how he managed to beat Yellow Hair to a pulp. Nevertheless, Butcher has some good news. Researchers at Godalkin University have developed a virus that can attach to Compound V in the blood of superhumans. It's completely harmless to humans, but it can cause devastating effects on superhumans. While its strength is not enough to kill Homelander, after all, that guy is too powerful. Butcher originally planned to steal the reagent from the university, but Newman beat him to it, so the boys have to reclaim the reagent from her. Butcher asks Mother's Milk to come up with a plan to obtain a presidential pardon. Then the two of them head to the prison to meet Stanford Edgar. He was formerly the CEO of VOT. Butcher arranged the pardon for him, for Stanford to regain his freedom. He has to help retrieve the compound from Newman. But for him, Newman is like his own daughter. How could Stanford possibly help someone else?
She shot up sweet little Zoe full of V. Turned her into a tentacle-mouthed nightmare.
As long as Stanford is willing to help, Butcher can help him regain custody of Zoe. This condition is truly tempting. Stanford agrees to cooperate with the boys. He leads them to an estate in the outskirts. If Newman wants to do something discreetly, she would definitely choose this location. Butcher takes the lead to investigate indoors. He sees blood handprints on the wall. They follow the blood trail inside. They quickly arrive at an underground basement. It's filled with various laboratory equipment. There are broken vials on the ground. Butcher releases a small rabbit, labeled Temporary Compound V. Frenchie opens a refrigeration unit. The reagents inside have disappeared. Only a label remains. It records each mutation of the virus. Clearly, someone is conducting tests. At that moment, several people start to nosebleed simultaneously. Shortly after, Newman and her team arrive. She received news of Stanford's release, but she cannot accept his betrayal.
You have 5 seconds to tell me what you did to Samir, or I paint this fucking room red.
Who the fuck's Samir?
The atmosphere in the laboratory is tense. Stanford tries to calm Newman down. Let's find Samir together. If you take action against the boys, they will also expose you as a superhuman killer to the public. After discussion, they decide to cooperate first. The group heads to a farm in the back. Stanford questions Newman. Why did you inject Compound V into our daughter?
You took a bright-eyed little girl and you turned her into
Into a what? A monster? Is that why you had me hide what I was?
All these years, Stanford has been urging Newman not to excel too much because of her superhuman identity. But Newman doesn't want their daughter to live like that. She has never been ashamed of her superhuman identity. Meanwhile, Butcher and the others are plotting. They plan to have Starlight gouge Newman's eyes. once they find the reagent, and then give her an injection. To eliminate Newman as a threat, the group arrives at the chicken coop. Samir's lab assistant is lying on the ground, with several eggs stuffed in their abdomen. The next moment, Newman's assistant is also impaled by a hen. Clearly, these chickens have mutated. The group starts killing the chickens. They struggle to escape the chicken coop, and close the door. Now the priority is to find Samir. Butcher spots the previously released rabbit. He steps on the mutated rabbit, killing it. Meanwhile, while Huey buys a bottle of drink, his father on the hospital bed disappears. Huey's mother, who was reading nearby, is also completely unaware. They quickly go outside to search for him. They see Huey's father in another patient's room. Huey approaches and calls out to him, only to find a bloody corpse on the floor. His father's hand is still clutching the person's heart. He doesn't seem to remember killing someone. He doesn't even recognize his son immediately. Clearly, the compound V in his body is starting to lose control. Huey's father roams through various hospital rooms. In his memory, his son is only 11 years old, but Huey's father can still recognize his wife, Daphne. Daphne is about to comfort him and take him back to their room, but Huey's father has an angry expression, blaming his wife for abandoning him and their son. His anger has made him volatile. Hospital security officers rush to help, but Huey's father pulls out their heart. Huey hurriedly takes his mother and escapes. At the expo, Deep complains to the host, Cameron. Why did they report on him? Losing his position as the crime analysis director, Cameron responds, this is following the rules. He has to appear fair and balanced, so sometimes he has to go after his own people. But Deep is still very angry. When the two return to hosting, Deep starts promoting VOT's latest diversity initiative, Black Empowerment. They target diverse audiences. They introduce customized digital product placements. For example, in the same TV show, if there's a drinking scene, white viewers streaming it will see the protagonist holding a brand product tailored to their taste. If a black viewer is streaming it, they will see the protagonist holding VOT Empire Peach Brandy. Black viewers are angry because this seemingly thoughtful design is actually a form of discrimination. Meanwhile, the director is speaking to Homelander and his son. They are trying to boost Junior Homelander's image, planning to launch a show called Superhuman School to capture the hearts of teenage viewers. Ryan doesn't really like this plan. Meanwhile, Homelander is preparing to change his approach to parenting his son. He says, if you don't like it, we can stop. The director is very anxious. All the sets have already been built. They even paid for the Toronto studio. How can we just stop like that? But Homelander is firm. The director quickly realizes, if he wants to salvage the situation, he has to please Ryan, as long as they can continue filming normally.
Give me your black Amex.
What? You know what? Why don't you take my whole wallet?
Then, Homelander asks him to hand over the keys to the Jaguar. Ryan happily accepts all the gifts, but still refuses to cooperate. The director's two big gifts didn't work. Ryan is curious. Why isn't his father angry because of his defiance? He used to force him to cooperate with VOT. Homelander explains to his son, I've been manipulated since I was little. Others told me what to say, where to stand. These days, Homelander has reflected and realized he's been doing the same to his son, but he won't do it anymore. From now on, they no longer follow the rules. Homelander only cares about Ryan's thoughts. Apart from his son, the whole planet is just nothingness. At the same time, Firecracker finds Sister Sage. She's not a fool. She can see that Sister Sage is using her, and then provokes Starlight to fight. It was part of Sister Sage's plan from the beginning, but Firecracker has a plan. She wants to get revenge on Sister Sage. On the other side, Ashley not only fails in business, but also faces rejection in her love life. While Ashley is full of worries, A-Train suddenly approaches and confesses that he's the one who leaked information.
I took one shit in Homelander's toilet. I'm not joining the fucking Rebel Alliance. I need to tell him.
But A-Train insists on dragging Ashley down, because Sister Sage already suspects him. At this moment, the host invites students from the Godalkin University. Sam and Kate go on stage. Both of them are characters from Gen V. It's a surprise crossover. While VOT is anxious about the new quarter's revenue, Homelander and his son are still having milkshakes and bonding. Ryan is different from his father. He wants to use his superpowers for real rescues, because it was his mother's dream. Homelander sees the female assistant director being harassed. He asks his son if he wants to help her. After he finishes speaking, he beckons them to come over. Ryan understands his father's meaning. He asks the female assistant if she feels uncomfortable with the director's behavior. The female assistant nods. Ryan asks the director to apologize, but the director clearly wants to brush it off.
Adam, I think you should get on your knees and do it again.
The director doesn't dare to provoke Homelander, and reluctantly complies. Ryan truly is Homelander's son. He knows the director is not happy about it. Homelander gives Ryan an idea.
I want you to slap him.
Oh, fuck.
Do it again.
Ryan happily sips his milkshake. On the other side, the farm group, just escaped from the killer hen, encountered a mutated sheep that not only flies, but also bites old cows. Everyone flees quickly. A female assistant gets grabbed and torn apart in midair. Limb fragments scattered on the ground. They run to the barn and close the door. Unexpectedly, they accidentally find Samir. He was originally a key figure in the Vought RD Center, and Zoe's biological father. Samir explains, they injected a hamster with compound V5 to test the virus. It escaped the cage and caused chaos in the lab. After compound V was broken and leaked into the groundwater, almost all the original virus samples were destroyed. Samir only has the last dose in his hand, because the virus can only spread through bodily fluids. So Mother's Milk suggests injecting the corpses on the ground and throwing them out to infect the sheep, to help everyone escape this dangerous place. Butcher and Newman, of course, disagree. There's only one precious dose left. It can't be wasted on something like this. Butcher suggests that everyone should run together, following Darwin's theory of natural selection. Whoever runs slow will die. The group starts arguing. Mother's Milk stops them. Do you see it? Hives. Because of you all. I'm so stressed that I have hives. No matter how important that serum is, it is not as important as human life. I still want to go back and see my daughter. Finally, Mother's Milk convinces everyone to inject the last dose into a corpse and throw it outside the barn. But Samir doesn't know when exactly the serum will take effect. Loud crashing sounds come from outside the barn. The sheep are still going crazy. Everyone starts running, but even the fastest legs can't outrun the flying sheep. Fortunately, the virus takes effect in time. The sheep that lost their lives crash to the ground, and Newman realizes that Samir is missing. Everyone is busy escaping and doesn't notice him, because Butcher didn't get the serum. He decides to put Stanford back in prison. Meanwhile, the search team searches the farm, and only finds Samir's severed leg. Just as the group is preparing to go home, the driver transporting Stanford suddenly gets shot in the head. It turns out Newman has caught up. She now needs her father's support. At the same time, hospital is in chaos. Huey rummages through the cabinets looking for sedatives. Father has already rushed to Mother's side. He stands between the two, and uses memories of their father-son relationship to awaken Huey's dad's consciousness. But it's only temporary clarity. Huey knows there's only one solution. After obtaining his father's consent, he personally administers euthanasia to him. On the Vought side, the superhumans gather together, because they have captured the whistleblower, Cameron. Of course, it's all Ashley's doing. She secretly left false evidence on Cameron's phone. Not only did she vent her anger, but she also managed to get rid of A-Train's harassment. Just as the superhumans are using extrajudicial punishment on the traitor, Frenchie walks into the police station, ready to face a real trial.
Sir, we'll get to you when we can.
I've committed murders. Plural.
And Butcher enters a hidden room. Behind the door is none other than Samir with the severed leg.
And you'll be back to work in no time.
What work?
Oh, what the fuck you think? You're gonna make us some more of that virus.
The above is the content of episode 5 of The Boys. For those interested in the series, if you like my channel, please give me a subscription.